what is currently in its golden age. But not enough people know about it. Internet, I believe it will be regulated more and more. I even think we're in the end of the golden age. And soon you'll have to pay for specific service like YouTube. We can thank VPN for protecting us from this kind of nonsense. But in due time, companies will do to the internet what they did to the mobile gaming. Because, yes, mobile gaming USED to be good. I remember vividly of having great game. Pay it once and play as much as you want. That were good. Look what mobile gaming become. They'll try to turn everything into this kind of money-sucking machine. Genetics. Now that we have a variety of very powerful sequencing technologies, combined with equally powerful analysis tools, the amount of information we can glean from a tiny sample is incredible. Meanwhile, techniques like CRISPR have opened a lot of doors for precision genome editing, and this is even being implemented in some treatments for genetic conditions. I hope we continue in this trajectory, but if they become more common, it is likely inevitable that some will see an opportunity to abuse them. Horror movies. They suddenly got way better around 10 years ago when movies like It Follows, The Witch and The Babadook came out. Not something you'd notice if you're not into the genre. Edit just to clarify. I mean, they suddenly got way better than 90s horror. I'd also consider the 80s a golden age for the genre as well. The 70s definitely had its heavy hitters too, but nothing in terms the sheer numbers you see in the 80s and the last 10 years. That weed is legal right now, everywhere in the States, but a lot of people don't know it. I make edibles. I have to decarb my weed, heat it in the oven to turn the THC into THC so it's active in edibles forms so. And I heard flower is legal TP by online. I was like, there's no way. I bought it and it's really good weed. A lot of people don't understand regular weed only contains delta 9 THC. When you smoke it, it loses the A and becomes delta 9 THC. The craft beer explosion started in the late 90s, and we have probably reached the peak at this point. Yes, a lot of people will complain about the over-availability of IPAs, but there have never been more breweries, and there has never been more variety, and there has never been such good quality. And we're still in the phase when there are decent local independently owned beer. The corporations are putting up a good fight though. EVs. These cars are new and completely unregulated, and they're all insanely fast. Your average driver has a car with the power equivalent of a late model Corvette with $30,000 worth of performance upgrades. Eventually, these are going to be regulated and rained on power, and we will look back on disbelief that could buy an electric pickup truck that made 800 horsepower. It's like the muscle car era before the 1970s. Batteries, a pocket which needed several AAA letters to no more than 20 years ago, to earbuds that last days with batteries the size of a TAC, or even cars that can go hundreds of miles on battery power alone. Honestly, don't think it's given enough credit how far we've come in the past 20 years with energy storage. Seriously, music. I'm not saying the average quality of mainstream music has gone up, but there is now so much choice of stuff to enjoy, every genre and subgenre, that it's almost impossible now to find things you like. How the average quality hasn't gone up. The quantity largely has. Therefore, the absolute quantity of quality music has gone up, which is all that matters because you don't listen to everything anyway. Fighting in general. The depth of each weight class is unlike ever before. I honestly don't believe anyone really knew how to fight properly before 20 years ago. All of the old legends and outliers of the time would barely make the cut today. I can only think of two people from the past who might be able to hang with the elite of today: Fedor Emelianenko and Mike Tyson. Sports car racing. Think the guys that race Le Mans and 24 Hours of Daytona. All the big car manufacturers are spending millions to get their cars on the track, and it has become very competitive racing with no signs of slowing. And it has very little to do with F1 or NASCAR. It's all going on in the World Endurance Championship and International Motorsports Association. We might be at the tail end of it. That Magic the Gathering, in a way, that they're going too far and printing far too much new and different content that not even the most avid player can keep up, let alone making it incredibly harder for any newcomers to play. The Linux desktop experience has really matured to a point that it is a viable alternative to Mac or Windows for almost any user, and continues to grow. Gaming on Linux is also the most accessible and effortless it has ever been. I won't say 2024 is the year of the Linux desktop, that with the continued monetization bad development of Windows is getting close. Unfortunately, scans. Technology has made it easy and cheap to pull off. People are lonelier, and mental health concerns sometimes make people more vulnerable to these scams. And finally, the archaic law enforcement structure isn't set up to go after them, so there's virtually no punishment for doing it. Watch out, fam. Smoking dope in Canada, at least. The new products. Easy access. Cheap. It's good to be a stoner right now. Hopefully USA joining the party soon. The next 5-10 years be the golden age as new stuff comes out and the black market keeps prices down. Then prices will rise and a couple big dogs will reign supreme. Third world sea etc. bang for your buck. Definitely towards the end of a beautiful golden era, where several cities are really quite good. DKKKL etc. etc. But food and fun and transport and hotels etc. are still cheaper than things are in the West. Many tourists know about this, of course. Technology, I think, combination of public distrust of things like AI, and the fact that the next generation is near incompetent with computers is going to slow down progress for a while, at least in the tech computer field. A welcome change, really. If you look beyond commercial radio, I reckon some of the best country music of all time is being produced right now. There's a whole new wave of interesting country stuff going on, and it has a lot to do with new perspectives being shared and listened to. In America anyway, beer. The variety coming out of microbreweries is incredible these days. The quality varies, but there is so much to choose from. International beer snobs are sleeping on the US if they think all we drink is Bud. Miniature wargaming. There are so many companies making so many good miniatures and wargames. And there's 3D printing to boot. The big problem now is there are so many games it's tough to find a crowd to play all of them. The economy in America. In 10 years, when we are in our next recession, we will realize it though. Right now, America has the best economy since the 1950s, which is a first for most of us that were not around in the 1950s. Cooking, I'm 30 now, and it's so easy to find amazing recipes, good cooking supplies, and with so much information I can save money on food in so many ways. Literally, YouTube is teaching me to make so many great things. We are probably in or just about to end the golden age of the internet if I were to hazard a guess. I don't think it will remain the free platform it is for much longer. I do hope I am wrong. I really, really do. In sad honesty. Humanity. Lots of things are still absolute us, and people all over the world die in war and poverty. However, as a whole, as far as we know, humanity has never had it better than we currently do. Laser cutting. I recently replaced a 40-watt CO2 laser machine with a 12 by 20 bed I bought about 8 years ago with an 80-watt machine with a 24 by 35 bed. And it cost less than what I paid for my old machine. Society TBH. Sure, there's all kinds of fuckery and evil shit, but things have never been better. The AVG world citizen has experienced things that a king 500 years ago would never have experienced. Travel. It's possible to get anywhere in the world you want to go relatively affordably. You have Airbnb, Google Maps, infinite number of reviews and ratings literally at your fingertips. One Piece manga. For almost 30 years, almost every week it's come out. Main character has achieved his final form. The Netflix live action is well liked. The final arcs are coming up next. Cooking. The availability of ingredients from around the world. The body of knowledge is expanding. More people are baking their own bread, making yogurt, processing their own foods. Keyboards. Both synthesizers and mechanical. It's possible to get a synth that sounds identical, to a $5,000 mini Moog for $200, and a decent mechanical keyboard for less than that. Anti-censorship movement in the United States. There's a full-on cultural war going in American libraries, and the library workers and their community advocates are fighting hard. The golden age of the human population is 8 billion now, and the maximum amount for population is expected to go lower in the future, and to level at 2 billion in the future. Dietary options. No matter what issue you have, there's a pantry full of food that will meet that restriction and taste good. Compare a keto diet from 1999 to now. It's unreal. Podcasts, long-form storytelling, interviews, investigative journalism on so many topics, new and old. Great form of education, entertainment, and everything in between. Game subscriptions. Chances are things like Game Pass and Ubisoft are gonna turn real ugly in a couple years, either disappearing or abusing a further obtained monopoly. Weather forecasting. With advancements in computing speed and numerical modeling techniques, weather forecasts are much more accurate compared to even 5-10 years ago. Information. Never before have we had such a vast amount of information freely available to us, and so easy as well. We just need to make sure we keep it that way. Modular synthesis. So many companies making odd little devices. People are making bleeps and bloops with the ease previously reserved for banging and thumping. Single-player games have been absolutely kicking us recently. I've had consoles since PS1. And I'm pretty sure the PS for Hera had my most mind-blown moments. Professional bowling is in a huge golden age. The talent on tour from top to bottom is ridiculous, and tour-worthy guys having to bowl the PTQ every week. Porn so much available for free it's become an epidemic. And state governments literally need to install safeguards, save young men from themselves.